Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. I hope everyone is doing great. As you know, this is a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, 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 my friends who are all in the chat right now, and all of you who will be joining us at some point, hopefully. I'm just assuming more will join, but hopefully more will join. But I was going to say hello to all my friends in the chat at the second. Black Queen is here, and Church Nelly, don't you go anywhere. Welcome, Church Nelly. um, let's see who else is here. Verda is here. Hi, Verda. And hang on, let's see who else is here. Lydia, awesome moderator, is here. Hi, Lydia, how are you? And Compton Cali Gal is here. And who else is in the chat? Oh, Educate You is here. And Victoria. Let's see who else. Oh, Hazel. Hi, Hazel. And Gwendolyn and Fancy is here. And let's see who else. Oh, Winsome Lewis is here. Hello, Winsome. How are you? And Perlina is here. Angela is here. Hi, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you guys are having a great Friday so far. I feel like I just got up, so my Friday is just kind of starting. So I don't even know what day I'm having yet because it's just starting. I kind of got up and just, you could probably hear this airplane going on over my house there. I just got up. I didn't just get up, but I just feel like it. My day hasn't started. So this is the beginning. I feel like this is the beginning of my day. So I don't know how it's going yet. So there. Hey, Terry, how are you? And H9, how are you? Welcome, guys. And Janet is here. And Mad World is here. Hello, everyone. But anyway, so yesterday, I promised I was gonna do this, and then I logged off, and I was like, oh my gosh, I completely forgot that I was gonna do this the minute I hit log off. Then I realized, like, oh, Petal, you have not done this. What are you doing? And this is what I forgot to do. So happy birthday, Church Nelly. Hope you had a great birthday celebrating and everything. So I am so sorry that I forgot to share this at the end. Like I said, like I literally hit log off and then I was like, ah! So I was just hoping that you would be on today so I could absolutely give you your little birthday, your birthday nacho present. So there, happy birthday. Of course. She's like, Nacho. It's so funny. Nacho and Delphine did a spread of their home, which is like, part stable. It's kind of like an architectural digest kind of home because it's like they have their home, and then at the top of their home, they can literally, their stables is like at the top of their house. It's the way how it's designed is amazing. And so they did this whole spread, and I was just like, I really liked it, but I always, even though they're the ones that did it, I always feel weird and kind of like creepy to share someone's home, even though I knew that they were the one. I mean, they shared it with the magazine for the world, and so they were sharing their really the architecture of their home and their stable. But I don't know, I just kind of I don't know, it's people's houses on the inside of their houses. I'm like, I don't know that I want to be sharing that. I don't know, it just kind of felt weird. if they're in the like picture and just a little bit of the house is, it's just there, it's fine. But to just share it like that, I was like, no. I'll try to find a link. Y'all can go. You can go like go see it, and that's fine. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, she says the birthday was awesome yesterday. Hubby surprised me with a kilt. You mean a kilt like they have in the Scotland kind of kilt? That's different. Okay. A kilt is okay. Very, very cool. So I'm really happy that you had a great birthday. That is important. So there. Good, 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 good. And Sylvia's hoping the same. So, yep. So, Sylvia, we all know now she had a happy birthday. So, awesome, Church Nelly. Um, Anyways, stuff is happening to, well, really, other than apart from yesterday, our faves has actually been very quiet. They're, things again are happening around them. They have literally been under a tree since Meghan came back from Indianapolis. They're under their tree and stuff, and people are talking about them, and stuff is happening around them. Netflix being messy as usual. Their wonderful messy selves. And but today is actually an anniversary, and I thank God for squatties, because and I'm so grateful that squatties have like calendar brains, because I never remember anything. So today I was just like, today is the anniversary of this, when Meghan won her case against the Daily Mail, and then the Daily Mail decided to bury it in their paper. And then squatties do what squatties always do. We elevate we elevate the very thing that they're trying to bury. We saw, at the bottom there, they were trying to bury the fact that they needed to print this in their press. And and of course, squatties feel like, oh no, you're not getting away with that. We're just going to let the world know. And this whole thing was trending the whole day. And squatties did their whole mock-up, their own mock-up of the Daily Mail front page with the Duchess of Sussex on it. And so it was a huge thing. It was trending the whole day. It was worldwide. It was amazing. It was fun. And just, the squad doing what the squad always does, and of course, it was just like, it's just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So anyways, this is the day, like, she won. This is the day she won the case. But then, the 26th of December is when all of this, but this is all around the same thing. Just to clarify, like, this is the day she won the case. And then they were supposed to print the articles. They were supposed to print this, like that, she won the case and all of that. And they did it in a day where, on the 26th of December, when she when nobody was paying attention. So we could do this again on December 26th, like the specific Mail on Sunday thing, when the squatties, did all of these mock-ups. But this is the day that she literally won the case. And so this is what, just to clarify, this is what this was about. So when she won the case, they were supposed to, put it in their paper, and they waited until the day after Christmas. And so these were, again, these were some mock-ups of it. So on the 26th, we'll also celebrate this. But we also remember, leading up to all of this was, and since that they've invaded the U.S., trying to act like if they're these, wonderful people, celebrating the earth and trying to fix the earth. We remember that, in that case, Prince William has, he handed over, as this article was saying, and I think this is a Newsweek article. I forgot to bring in the title there, but that Prince William's approved handing over Meghan and Harry's private emails and texts to the Daily Mail to help the Daily Mail to win. And of course, they lost. And as we can see here, this was COP 20, what was it, 26, which was last year, COP 26, with Jason Knopf, Kate over there, and I think William is on the other side. You can see just his bald head at the top there. They were toasting each other there. And I think that, who knows what they're toasting, but I could only imagine them toasting, expecting that the Daily Mail was going to win. I don't know. I'm just like, maybe that's what they're toasting. But that was them there. He was still working with them. He quit he quit at the end of the year, but now he is rehired by Earthshot, Prince William's Earthshot Prize. But we can never forget that Prince William gave approval to Jason Knopf to hand over his brother and his sister-in-law's private email and text to the Daily Mail to help the Daily Mail. And you hear stuff like, the British press like to be like, oh, William is so sad about what Harry's done. He can't trust Harry. He cannot meet with Harry because he is afraid that whatever he says, Harry would leak it. Meanwhile, none of them have very few. This was the Grazia and the Newsweek. It was one of the only UK outlets that ever acknowledged that Prince William is the one that allowed and leaked Meghan and Harry's private emails to the Daily Mail to help the Daily Mail. And so anyway, we're definitely celebrating. This is the day where Meghan really won the case. And then, obviously the 26th, when the Daily Mail tried to hide that fact. And so this was Meghan, Tuesday, December 2nd, when Meghan put out this wonderful statement. Says, this victory is not just for me, but for everyone who has ever felt scared to stand up for what is right. While this win is precedent setting, what matters most is that we are now collectively brave enough to reshape a tabloid industry that conditions people to be cruel and profits from the lies and pain that they create. From day one, I have treated this lawsuit as an important measure of a right versus wrong. The defendant has treated it as a game with no rules. The longer they dragged it out, the more they could twist the facts and manipulate the public, even during the appeal itself, making a straightforward case extraordinarily convoluted in order to generate more headlines and sell more newspapers. The model that reward chaos above truth. It is nearly 3 years since this began. I have been patient in the face of deception, intimidation, calculated attacks. Today, the court ruled in my favor, again, cementing the Mail on Sunday, owned by Lord Jonathan Rothermere, has broken the law. The courts have held the defendant to account, and my hope is that we all begin to do the same. Because as far removed as many may seem from your personal life, it is not. Tomorrow, it could be you. These harmful practices don't happen once in a blue moon. They are a daily fail that divides us, and we all deserve better. And so we remember this very blunt statement from Meghan. And, sadly, the Daily Mail, and it's all its other sister papers have continued the same. Nobody really has held them to account. And in fact, since then, Prince Charles has hired a former editor from the Daily Mail to be his press secretary. So they have not changed at all. And it is very, very sad to see how, we were talking about yesterday, just what happened with, at the event at Buckingham Palace a couple of days ago for women who are in the domestic violence community. And then only to see, by today, what has happened is now it's the Blame the Victims Day. The press is now about blaming the victims and finding out and trying to come up with every reason to really I don't know, to groom the public into believing this cold, this kindly old 83-year-old lady couldn't possibly be racist. She was just trying to be welcoming. Oh, those, how dare those women decide to attack an 83-year-old so that she loses her job. So now it's blaming the victim, and the victims are now trying to basically defend themselves. And, they're like, we didn't want her to get fired, but the royal family are not dealing. They're trying to do this, rotten apple thing where it's like, oh no, if we just take out the rotten apple and throw it away, then it's all fixed. It's not institutional law. It's just that one person. So if we get rid of that person, throw her under the bus, we never have to deal with this racism issue. And so this is where we are today. It's the blaming the victim and making the racist person become the victim. So we're now all supposed to feel sorry for this woman who has never put a foot wrong because, she's the queen's personal aide and she was the closest thing to the queen. And how could she possibly have been racist? How could she possibly? And so, so now you have Dr. Shola and all of those are on television having to fight for that position of like, racism doesn't have an age. You could be racist no matter how old you are. And the fact that she's 83, that means she has lived through all of these periods in time and all of these, the civil rights movement. I mean, even recently, Black Lives Matter movement and all of the things that she has lived through as the personal aide of the queen, that she literally has not learned from. She literally has not learned a thing. None of them has learned a thing from it. And so now it's trying to protect her at the expense of the people who she violently, went after. And it was just like she invaded people's privacy, was racist, and now we're supposed to feel sorry for her. And, how dare those women make a 83-year-old lose their job by speaking out about the racism, that she basically dropped on them in an environment where it's about domestic violence against women. I mean, it is unreal what is happening right now. And so Omid Scobie tweeted this today. He says, I see we have entered the predictable turn the victim into the villain phase of the story. The gymnastics and the lying some people are doing to excuse racism of a woman who haven't met who they haven't met is wild. No wonder so many who experience racism or bigotry keep it to themselves. Shameful. It is utterly shameful what is happening. And so it's just, let's blame Ngozi. Let's blame all the other two women who were there with her and who experienced the same thing. Let's blame them for the royal family not wanting to deal with the racism and not wanting to sit there and confront it and deal. And again, this is an event that Queen Camilla, this was her event. We have not heard a word from this woman. She has not spoken. She has not said a word. Wouldn't this have been the time where she should have spoken up? Shouldn't this be a time where Prince Charles, we should be hearing his voice? They are both silent. And they are now allowing what is something, it's a racist incident against a victim, someone coming into her event by her staff. They are now allowing their press to turn on the victim. And they are not saying a word. And for me, this is all by design. Because if their press are successful in silencing Ngozi, and don't be surprised when all kind of negative things, whether anything she's done in her past that's negative, don't be surprised if they end up in the Daily Mail. All of it to paint her as this bad person. And the royal family has sitting there and they are saying nothing. And so it's really, really despicable. Again, it's the same thing what they did to Meghan. Meghan is the victim of what they did to her. And what have they done since, say Meghan spoke out? It was the Oprah interview, Prince Harry spoke out, due to Me You Can't See, and all of those things. They have turned them, basically been monstering them for 2 years. And have turned them into, no, they are the aggressors. They want to destroy the royal family. And this is what they're doing. And the royal family has sat there and completely been silent and let their press destroy the victims. And so that's why I guess they're so upset about Harry and Meghan doing their documentary. And I'm so happy that's coming out. I am so happy. And I hope, and I really, really, really do hope that Harry and Meghan really name names, be specific, pull out receipts, whatever they need to do, just rip it to shreds. Just expose it. Because honestly, this kind of thing, you can't reform these. You got to root that stuff out. These people, especially those who've been there for like ever, they're not going to change. They're just literally, they're not going to change. They don't want to. I know amount of like, oh, we want to have a talk about it. They're not going to change. So anyway, Scobie went ahead and wrote this article. He does his weekly article. So I took a little bit of his, maybe too much, of Scobie's article here. And this is some of what he had to say. I'm going to move my subscribe button. So if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, I'm going to move this button, this scrolly thing at the bottom there. Go ahead and subscribe. Click that notification bell if you so you can know when we drop a video. We'll talk about the rest after. But anyway, so this is a little bit of Scobie taught, he started off, he's talking about the event, about Ngozi and her team be going there, for the domestic domestic violence event, which should have been a safe place, which should have been a place where, you feel safe to be. And in this case, not, so this is some of what he says. He says the encounter was appalling, but sadly didn't shock many. The relationship between the royals and racial sensitivity is regular to the relationship between royals and racial sensitivity is similar to that of oil and water. Diversity at royal events sound great, but does it work if people there aren't equipped to deal with it? Miss Fulani's problematic encounter with one of the Queen Elizabeth II's most treasured aides was a reminder that little changes in the House of Windsor. And then he goes on to say, to many, particularly people of color, Tuesday's incident was a reminder of the countless times issues concerning race have been pushed to one side by the palace. It was also a validation of the allegation made by Prince Harry and Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, in 2021, who claimed a member of the royal family made racist remarks about the color of Archie's skin. With no royals named by the Sussexes, palace officials did their best at the time to curtail media's coverage and the public's discussion by announcing that the accusation would be discussed privately as a family. It wasn't. Before new negative stories about Harry and Meghan, courtesy of palace sources being quoted, conveniently surfaced in British newspapers. And it goes on to say, but the palace rushed to claim, we talked about this yesterday, when they put out the statement that, they're contacted Ngozi and all of those things. And Scobie is saying, but the palaces rushed to claim they reached out to Ngozi, who over days later claimed he had heard a word from anyone. A sign that the palace may have just been thinking about optics, not humanity. A palace source tell Yahoo that the official had reached out to Ms. Fulani through an organization she's affiliated and is still eager to connect. Again, when they put out the statement yesterday morning, It's that they've reached out and they've invited her, if she's interested, to come to Buckingham Palace to have a chat, I guess. But a day later, Scobie is talking to them and they're like, yeah, we reached out to an organization she's affiliated with. An organization she's affiliated with? You don't know the organization? And they're eager to connect. So they still had not connected with Ngozi. Yet they put out a statement that they had, which again, we talked yesterday, was a lie. And then Scobie goes, and I realized that this picture that I put in there is, I'm telling you, whenever I pull things into StreamYard, it always messes things up. But the essence of this is, after all, even putting, it's talking about Susan Hussey. It was reported, and part of the article is talking about Susan Hussey is reported that she was assigned to, help Meghan and basically get her acclimated to the palace. But what was reported that Duchess Difficult Meghan refused to meet with her. And so Scobie is going on with that. And he's saying, after all, even putting race to one side, this is the same lady in waiting who, per sources, would privately make disparaging comments about Meghan. And Princess Diana allegedly couldn't stand. She couldn't stand her. And in just a few minutes, Hussey would make a group of accomplished and upstanding Black women feel like trespassers. So his point is like, if she could do that in only a few minutes, imagine what Meghan had to deal with months and months and over a year and something in the royal family, knowing this woman. And she, again, is one of the queen's, the queen's aides. Most special. I mean, she's the one that was in the car with the queen when she was driving to Prince Philip's funeral. When, then she sat alone in the church, but Hussey was the one that in the car with her. So she was the most trusted aide. And, and this is who was assigned to Meghan. And according to Scobie, she was making disparaging comments about Meghan. And we talked about yesterday that she was the one that predicted that, Meghan's marriage is going to end in tears when she was meeting with those theater officials who Meghan would end up, being a patron of their theater. And so it's like, and this is the same woman that they're trying to groom people into believing that, no. She is, no. She's a wonderful lady. She's never put her foot wrong. It's those people. They should not have reported her. Now she's lost her job, And it's that is the phase we're in, unfortunately. And the Telegraph, and this is the Telegraph. I mean, there's this, again, blaming the victim. This whole article is about, how wonderful she is. And oh my goodness, we can't believe this is happening to the poor dear Susan Hussey. And just some clips from this article from the Telegraph. And they're like, how the late Queen's trusted friend embarrassed the palace. After more than 60 years, and that's the thing, they always like to tell you how she's been there 60 years. Of service, after more than 60 years of service, came to a dismal end. We examined the row that led to Lady Susan Hussey's downfall. And this is some clips of people in the palace talking. He says, it's a very regrettable situation, said one palace source. There's no doubt that unfortunate comments were made, though absolutely no malice was intended. Another person is like, nevertheless, another says another. It's very sad all around. For friends of Lady Hussey, a lifelong courtier, so trusted that she accompanied the late Queen, to Prince Philip's funeral, and was in the room when she was introduced to the Sussex's daughter, Lilibet Mountbatten Windsor. Oh, it's okay to be called a Lilibet now. And seemed a dismal end to an otherwise unblemished career. Oh, she has never put her foot wrong. Never mind she was saying bad things about Meghan and Princess Diana, but oh no, she was never put her foot wrong. Another says it was another act of great service and loyalty that Lady Hussey volunteered to take this difficult decision in the way that she did, says one palace source. It was such a great service for her to step down after she was being racist, but it was such a great service and great loyalty. Yes. And another piece of the clip says, another, also speaking anonymously, is less diplomatic. It's tragic that the palace has no other option than folding in this sort of situation. They said, everyone loves Susan. She has never been racist in her life, and this is how she's treated. She is thrown under the bus. I'm telling you, she has never been racist. Never mind, she was racist too, a day and a half ago. No. She was never been racist. Never mind, she's been racist to, Meghan, but no. She's never been racist. And then finally down here it says, eventually in the afternoon, because again, this article went into the fact that the royal family said they contacted Ngozi, and Ngozi's like, no, I've not spoke to anyone. Nobody has contacted me. And then I think I forgot which of the authors this is that wrote this piece has a nerve to put in the, recollections may vary, basically wanting to insinuate that maybe Ngozi, maybe she didn't remember the palace actually contacted her. Maybe she's just lying, but it goes on to, say, well, eventually in the afternoon, while the palace put out in the morning that they contacted them, eventually in the afternoon, they connected with hopes for a sit-down chat in the future. Notice they didn't put a date, where Lady Hussey hopes to apologize in person. We hope we can orchestrate a situation where everyone gets around the table and has an open dialogue, and lessons can be learned in the spirit of cooperation, said a royal source. And it says, if it goes well, it is said, Lady Hussey may remain in the fold. Her 6 decades of experience in the royal household not entirely lost to her colleagues, even if her public-facing role is over. Oh, of course not. Did we think she was actually fired? No, of course not. This is Michael Fawcett here. This is the female version of Michael Fawcett. Yesterday, of course she was fired, or not fired. Of course she resigned. Lies. That was only there again. That was only there because those in the US, they didn't want, they're trying to mitigate, minimize any kind of negative impact it had for those in the US. So they put out the lies of, oh, no, we contacted Ngozi, it's all going to be fine. We're going to talk to her. We're going to meet up with her and all of those stuff if she wants to. It was all lies, And now it's like, well, maybe we can get around the table at some point in the future. And it's again, she's never put her foot wrong. She's never been racist in her life. Oh, she's 93 years old. Everybody loves her. And it's the same thing again. Let's coddle the racist and blame the victim and demonize the victim. This is the royal model. And for people who are expecting these people to change, really, that is seriously wishful thinking, because they're just not going to. They're simply not going. They're not willing to, they're not willing to address this stuff. We saw with the others in the US, it's like, oh, racism is no place in society. And that was it. That was the whole racism anything. We have not heard from Prince Charles or King Charles. We have not heard from Queen Camilla. Because, let's hide from this and it will go away. Let's hope this news cycle ends quickly, and then we can move on to having more Black people come, and we can have pretty pictures with them to show the world that, see, we're not really racist. Those Black people, they didn't understand. We were just trying to make them feel welcome. They just didn't understand. And that's the thing with them. They're not going to change. Ever. It's unreal. And I'm going to get into the chat in a second, but this is an article in The Guardian written by Mandu Reed. And Mandu Reed was one of the ladies at the event, and she was there with Ngozi. And she, Ngozi, and another lady was with them. They all experienced the same thing. And this is the article she wrote in The Guardian today. Very important. She says, "We didn't ask for Lady Hussey to resign, but really the monarchy must do better on race." And that's the thing. Her point is like, look, first of all, the royal family did not speak to any of us before they fired her, or just, talked to her and she so supposedly resigned. This wasn't anything coming from them. This was the royal family decision. And so their thing is like, they're doing this rotten apple thing where they just pick out the so-called rotten apple and discard it, and then see, everything is fine now. Racism, we have taken care of it, and there's no more racism. And their thing is like, no, that doesn't change anything. You're not learning anything. This is deeper than her. This is not just Susan Hussey. This is an institutional racism. This is the culture that you have, that she could feel so comfortable in the middle of a crowd and in an event about domestic violence, and then she commits violence against one of the people there. And so it's just like, they're not going to get it. They're just completely, I don't want to say clueless, because these people know exactly what they're doing and they don't care. That's the thing. So this is some of what Manda wrote. She says, "Even so, the media furor feels disproportionate. Given the avalanche of huge stories you might expect to be dominating a news cycle, it's not that this one is not serious. Racism always is, which is why I've spoken out. But something about the media frenzy feels off. Even as I write this, interview requests are coming in faster than I could say no to. In one case, my refusal was countered with offers of a huge fee. If you have seen the emergency appeal that the Women's Equity Party launched this week, you would understand how hard this particular refusal was, though it confirmed why my decision had been right in the first place." And if you don't know, she's the leader of the Women's Equity Party. And she goes on to say, "The initial calls I received from journalists, not looking into my account, but my corroboration. It took some time to realize that was in fact the incident, that it took some time to realize that it was that very fact that the incident had been witnessed that made it significant and forced the palace to respond swiftly, and in my view, unsatisfactorily. Unlike when the Duchess of Sussex made her account of royal racism, such as the concerns that were expressed about how dark her son's skin might be, the palace wasn't able to deny or deflect this time. It couldn't rerun the famous line that recollection may vary, because three of us have identically uncomfortable recollections of that encounter." And I get, and it's very interesting. So, and she's done quite a few interviews about this. It was all about, they were trying to figure out if it was only Ngozi's testimony, if she had no witnesses, you would have seen the recollections may vary come out. But because there are three people standing there, right there, and they all experience the exact same thing, they couldn't pull it out. They couldn't go with recollections may vary. They did it because Meghan didn't name anyone. She didn't provide evidence, any of those things. And the reason why they were calling her and trying to get her to interview is like, they're trying to basically prove the story wrong. That, Ngozi might, it's just a recollection, that's how she remembers it, but may not be exactly what happened. That recollections may vary. And I'm so glad she figured it out. I'm so glad she figured out that, this time they couldn't get away with that. So they didn't have a choice but to come out and, basically allow her to so-called resign so they can squash the story. Because as Scobie was saying, they were like, oh, recollections may vary with Meghan's and Harry's their accusations, but we will handle it privately. And according to Scobie, they never did. And the only reason they did this is because Ngozi had evidence and she had witnesses. That is what is, that has forced the royal family to do what they did. And of course, now, instead of owning it, they're allowing the press to go after the victims. And it's just, I'm going to jump in the chat and see what you guys are saying about this. Andrea says, gaslighting and projecting appears to be the marching orders for all who support that over 1,000-year-old institution. We must keep our eyes on the prize. Truth will prevail. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely gaslighting. Now it's like, oh, well, she was just trying to be nice. Someone literally said she was just trying to make people feel comfortable. There were 300 people there. It was loud. And her job was to, get to meet people and get to find out about them. So just in case they meet the queen, and it's just like, that wasn't meeting someone, that was drilling someone about where they're from and and wouldn't accept that they're British. And now it's like, oh, no, that's not what she was doing. I know you think she was racist towards you. I know you think that it was invading your privacy. I know you think that it was racism, but you don't understand. She's 83 years old and she was just trying to make you feel welcome, even though she took your hair and she touched your hair and moved your hair out of the way. When you didn't give her permission to do it, when you never gave her permission to touch you in the first place. But no. Don't you see? You are mistaken. Let's see. Sylvia said, oh, she's talking to Cookies and Cream. I saw the change come in during the Jubilee when Joe Scarborough made a comment about Meghan and Harry. I don't know what you're talking about, but Joe Scarborough is on NBC. So NBC don't, whatever it is about NBC, expect them to be negative. That's where Hoda is. That's where Jenna is. That's where what's her name is. They're always negative. There's a reason why they're in my doghouse and blocked for that very reason. Let's see. Victoria says the royal family is in a very precarious situation right now. Alleged. They are they've been in it. They've been just running away from it. And because they know they have a media that would protect them. Why? Because the media depend on them for a living. And that's how they make their money. The same reason why you'll see ABC and NBC in the US always, they'll always be shady towards the Sussexes and always, basically kissing up to the royals because they all have been selling the royal fantasy. And they don't want to, they make money from the royal fantasy. They have very gullible people who literally believe that this is real, and that they really are God's gift to creation to rule over them with tiaras, stolen jewels. They really buy into that stuff. And so anything that comes up against that, then, they'll go after them. John Newbold says, hi all. And now the gutter press is starting to blame Meghan and Harry for torpedoing William, of course. Kate's visits. Those shoddy royals were going to the US in October. Netflix has already said they would show in December. And you have to have a certain kind of, the fact that you think that you could come into somebody's country and basically they're thinking as, oh, no, we are going to turn Americans away from their own country person, their own country woman, and we are going to make them hate her and love us. And we are going to make America fall before us and bow before us and kiss our feet, and we're going to do all this and then be shocked when you come and try to do that and get slapped. Thank you, Netflix, for applying the slap, to be all like, how dare they? How dare they interrupt? You're in our country. You are coming to somebody's country and then you, with that attitude, and then get shocked when somebody slaps you. And it's like, how dare they? But don't they know we have an engagement today? Don't they know? And it's just like, oh, yes. Unbelievable. Uh, Jody says the royal family and their conspirators are comfortable doing what they do. Yeah, they just want to be comfortably racist, and then that's just the key. That's just they want to be comfortably racist. Again, the fact, Susan Hussey isn't doing something that she hasn't done before. It's the culture. That's the culture that they have. She's literally just being herself. And they're acting like, oh my gosh, this is a one-off thing that, we are so shocked. No, you just shocked that now it's on the open, that people know, and they're calling it out and they're naming it as racist. And they're naming her as the racist person. But other than that, this is a normal day at Buckingham Palace. Because if Ngozi hadn't said anything, this would have just gone on, and then she would have gone on and done it to somebody else, and nobody would have said anything. And this is, again, what they're doing to Ngozi and Mandu and that, and right now is why people don't say anything, because nobody wants their life upended by these reporters, because again, the royal family, it will not protect them. They will not do anything to protect them. They will not call off their dogs, because that's the point. The point is, we are going to destroy you if you call us out on racism. Look at what they're doing to Harry and Meghan. Nobody wants to go through that. Harry and Meghan have the wonderful privilege that they could move and build a life for themselves, and they are now financially independent, and they don't have to ever deal with the royals. They don't ever have to deal with the royal reporters. But how many people in the UK have that kind of, opportunity to do that stuff like that? How many of them have the funds and the financial independence to be able to be like, you know what, I am done with this country. I am moving. I am out of here. I don't want to deal with you. Or even have the money to if they, get out of line, or if they do something illegal or say something really, libelous against them, that could take them to court. Because a lot of times, if they take them to court, they get ruined, because it's so expensive to challenge, to challenge the British press. And so then now they get away with abusing you. And so how many people would want to put themselves and their family through that trauma, and then have to deal with the trolls that they groom to destroy your life? And again, this is why they do stuff like this. And this is why they hate Harry and Meghan, because finally they found two people are there that they can't control. And that's why, they are now hate figures in the UK. Raymond says, notice those in the US practicing for their show in black and white, like Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan trailer. Of course. Cynthia says, there is a saying that goes like this: it's hard to teach old dog new tricks. A person who's accustomed to certain behaviors without accountability will certainly become embedded in their old age. Yeah. And if you look at the average age, then just about all of them, Kate and William are the youngest of them, and they're in their 40s. And so even them are like, just about as ingrained as the rest of them, even though they tried to claim like, oh no, racism, there's no place for racism. That's about as deep as it gets with them. But this whole institution, again, you cannot reform this institution. Literally every single one of the people that work in that institution needs to be rooted out of that institution. They literally have to start over. This entire, literally have to start over, and start over in, first of all, acknowledging what their ancestors did and what they did, to former colonies, and, apologize and pay reparations. They literally have to start over there, but literally for people that working in the monarchy, literally, they have to gut that place and bring in all new people and literally start over. Or we are going to be right back here in a week or so, or 2 weeks or whatever, and next week with, whenever that date is, drops that Harry and Meghan's documentary, this whole thing is going to be again. I mean, the British press is going to go crazy. I mean, they've already been going crazy. And racist things are going to come out, and they're going to be throwing racist stuff at that Harry and Meghan. I mean, this whole institution has to go. And so, yeah, honestly, abolish the whole thing. All of them need to go. Let's see. Gwendolyn says, I'm done with them too. I can't wait for karma to get every one of them. Oh, I'm not really sure who you're referring to, so I'm not going to guess. Marjorie says, it should not come. It should not come to apology. They will continue to do, then apologize. Has Charles and his cohorts apologized for those ancestors for the inhumane treatment of Black people in the past until now? No, there's not going to be an apology. Notice even the statement yesterday, there was no apology. There's something unfortunate, was said, but there's no apology. They claim that, when Susan Hussey meet up with Ngozi, she'll apologize. She wants to apologize. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. I hope if Ngozi does decide to meet with her, that she stresses no press, because the only reason the royal family would want that, and what they will try to do, is have her come to them instead of they go to her and apologize to her. And I hope she says no press, no video, no photos, because they're going to just do it for a photo op. Again, it's a photo op, and so it's very, very, again, these people, they don't apologize. They don't apologize. They would, they would sort of dance around it. But it's it's an unfortunate situation. It was very sad that this happened. I mean, look at all of Prince Charles's speech when he's supposedly sorry about the past and how we should be reconciled because it was such a sad thing in the past. And it's just no, you need to say sorry. You need to apologize. You need to acknowledge what you did and apologize. I don't care that you're sorry. So, Compton Caligal says, my grandpa was born in 1897 and he spoke about racism to me and my children. After listening to his 100-year-old stories, I had to reprogram my children and not allow racists to have power over them. Wow. It just... I can only imagine what this was like, Compton Caligal. I can only imagine. Wow. Let's see. Black Queen said, she's talking to Hildy. What that old hussy could have taught Meghan, she didn't already know. Oh, what she could have taught Meghan, she didn't already know. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have a lot of brain power to learn some demeaning, washed up protocol. Yeah, she was the one that was assigned to Meghan, and amazingly enough, Princess Diana. Princess Diana couldn't stand her. And obviously we know what she said about Meghan. So yeah, and again, this is the woman that they claim. And that is the thing that is so crazy about all of this, is even though she's done all those things and Princess Diana couldn't stand her, she's saying this stuff about Meghan, in their mind, then this is how so steeped in this culture that they are, in their mind, oh, no, she's never been racist. She's wonderful. We love her. She's never done anything wrong. She's never put a foot wrong. She has 60 years of service. For them, she is just, she's just a saint. We just need to put a little, stars over her head and just, crown her a saint. And that's how, and again, that is why they need to gut, for them to move forward, to them to have any kind of a change in the institution, that whole institution need to be gutted. Um, Joan says, if you got a hussy with a knife, racism pours out. Any one of them, racism pours out. Madwell says it isn't the media that's leading the charge. It isn't the media that's leading the charge. It's social media. Social media will hold some accountability every time. The thing about this Mad World is that I disagree with that. Social media is taking its cue from the media, especially the British press and the narrative around the Sussexes, the royal family. Social media is taking its cue from royal reporters. And if you are especially if you're on Twitter, that would be very, very, very clear that is what's feeding social media. They are taking their cue, and even when those crazies on whether it's Twitter or wherever they are, a lot of the horrible narrative about the Sussexes that started on social media, they get elevated by the British press, and therefore it makes the ones on social media feel validated, and so they just escalate. And so you see people like, whether it's Richard Eden or Angela Levin, Rebecca English, Roy and Nika, the royal editor, Robert Jobson, all of those people and all of the others who are on social media, Russell Myers, all of them, they have been very instrumental in the demonization of Harry and Meghan, especially because of all the lies because again, they're coming to these platforms they have huge platforms claiming that they're getting word from the royal family, whether it's unnamed royal source or royal source close to whichever royal they're talking about that's giving them this negative information. Social media is feeding off of that. So yeah, social media has its thing, and it's horrible, but a lot of it is being fed from royal reporters, especially, and others as well, from the Rhoda, but others as well, like people from the Times or the Telegraph. Well, actually, Telegraph I think is part of the Rhoda. So yeah, it's just yes, social media has its own issues, and yes, it's bad and it's gross. But they're taking their cue from royal reporters, and especially those reporters who are part of the Royal Rhoda. Let's see. And especially the ones that are at the Daily Mail. Think of all the nasty, and she's not even considered, say, a royal reporter, but she is literally, it seems like, hired to write despicable articles about Harry and Meghan, Sarah Vine, and so it's just it's absolutely. And you think about, you think of, say, Dan Wooten and Piers Morgan and all of those. That's where all of this nastiness from social media, I would literally say 90% of the nastiness on social media took its cue from the British press. So that's why I have a lot of them blocked because it's horrible. Lottie says, unfortunately, they will never change until someone very close to them gets hurt. Then they will change. They're not going to change. I mean, Princess Diana was killed. They're not going to change. Princess Diana was killed. I mean, you think of Carolyn Flack and all the people that they've abused that have, got to kill themselves or have been killed. They're not going to change. What needs to change is the people of the UK, the people who, they need this one. And again, it also has to do with us and what we consume. Stop clicking on them. Stop buying their mess. Stop sharing their articles. Stop, you know what I mean? All of those things will stop it. I mean, this whole thing is about money. it is about money, and they are making money from being racist. And until they stop making money from racism, they will continue. And so it behooves us to cut off their supply. So yeah, I mean, the British press, they're not in love with the royal family. They are in love with the money they can make off of the royal family and sell to people. That's the thing. If you cut off the money, which is, they feel like that's what Harry and Meghan are doing, that's why they're so angry, because it'll affect their pocketbooks. And in the same way with the things we consume, we need to cut that off. We need to cut off the money. That's why they hate the Sussex Squad. I think I saw today someone post where Dan Wooten was he was again attacking the Sussex Squad because he's convinced we are there to we are the ones behind trying to destroy the royal family, because Harry and Meghan's their trailer came out, and I responded out to whoever did the screenshot. I'm like, well, I really wish. I mean, I would gladly take that, compliment. Like, yeah, I'll definitely be about destroying and abolishing that monarchy. But the royal family they're doing a bang up job of it on their own. I mean, honestly, I feel kind of like neglected. I would like the part of it, but they're doing such a great job. We don't have to do anything. They're just destroying themselves on their own. So, let's see. Let's see. I'm going to stay in the chat for a bit and see what you others are saying. Hang on one second. Let me scroll down. I'm going to scroll all the way down and then go back up. Sylvia says, "Fellow, remember Michelle and Tina asked us not to watch that GB News show and do not click on their articles." Yeah. I do. I guess people watch. I guess people watch it. I mean, the last I heard is that they were, I'm amazed that they're still around. I thought they were like getting 1 and 2 viewers, whatever. But yeah, what I know about them is that, especially there are these 2 Black girls on there. Really, I just wait for them to get slapped one day, and with the fact that, honey, you are Black, and you, just because you're in this white space doesn't mean that you wouldn't be treated as such. But they're still doing it, and yeah, don't watch their channels. But yeah, someone posted a screenshot today of I mean, I don't know if it was from GB News, because he does work on GB News, or it was from he still writes, I think, for the Daily Mail. So I'm not sure. I just literally saw the screenshot of him saying it was the Sussex Squad that is trying to bring down the family. So I don't know where the screenshot came from. I didn't pay attention. I was just like, well, I mean, I'd love to take that, but take that credit. But the royal family are doing a great job of destroying themselves. So yeah. Glenda says, "I've stopped watching GB News and The View. I don't miss either." There you go. Oh wait, you get The View in the? Are you in the UK? You get The View? I didn't realize that. That's interesting. I haven't seen The View in a long time. The last time I saw The View, I actually saw it live. I went to a screening of it, and that wasn't pleasant. So I haven't seen it since. So the GB News is a Murdoch show full of lies and propaganda. It is actually not. GB News is not Murdoch, but it's like Murdoch. The news, I think it's called, what is it, News UK or something it's called, where Piers Morgan and others are on that show. That is the Murdoch show. So whatever the the channel that Piers Morgan is on, that is Murdoch. GB News is, I think, it's by a either company or partnership from, I think they're from France. I think they're from someplace. I don't remember where they're from, but yeah, they are not Murdoch. Yeah. And I know that, I think it was Discovery from the US that was in partnership with them, and they pulled out recently. So I don't think they are part of GB News anymore. So, but again, I'm amazed that they're still there. It's just like, really? Okay. But I'm glad you guys have stopped watching it. Lydia says, hi. Oh, she's talking to Elaine. It makes me so crazy. I never hear a word until the last 2 years. Everyone is a doctor now. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about, Lydia. So that's what happens when you jump into a conversation. You have no idea what you're reading. So anyway, carry on, Lydia. Awesome moderator. Lottie says, they didn't care about Princess Diana. They killed her. I mean, Charles, William, Kate, or Camilla. Then sometimes might change. I am not sure what it means, but okay. Thank you, Lottie. Princess Anne said that the wheel of the monarchy will not change. Oh, really? When did she say that? Interesting. And she's right. They're not going to change. I mean, one is that they're, an older generation, a lot of times whatever it is that they're doing is so set, they're so set in their ways that they have no interest in changing. Official Lauren Brown says, if only it were so easy to point to an outside source for why the royal family is performing so poorly, the Sussex Squad would be an easy target. Sadly for them, the royal family is destroying themselves without our help. That's the truth. And that's why I say, I feel neglected. I'm like, man, I would have loved to take credit for that. But I have had to do nothing. I just sit here and watch them, destroy themselves because they are doing a very, very good job of it. They don't need us. So, I mean, thanks for giving us a credit, but they don't exactly need us. So there. Lydia says, yeah, I saw Hateful Dan Wooten comment on okay, so I'm assuming you probably saw the same screenshot that I did. So yeah, and I don't remember who posted it there. I just happened to see it and I'm like, okay. Gwendolyn said Dan Wooten today blaming the Sussex Squad for setting up their this racist against the royal family. I was like, dude, we went there with Lady Hussey. We didn't coach her what to say. We never even been to Buckingham Palace. I've never even been to your country. So not that that's your country. You're a New Zealander. So, which I'm sure Lucinda Ardern is probably like, no, just stay in the UK. We don't want you here in New Zealand. But yeah, it's like, dude, we had nothing to do with Susan Hussey, assaulting Ngozi. I mean, I'd love to take credit for taking down the royal family, but they're doing such a great job on their own. So there. Rachel says, does anyone think that Nostradamus' prophecy is actually happening? Because I do. And if you don't know what that is, apparently that he's so funny. When Queen Betty passed away, many people were sharing this Nostradamus prophecy that Prince Charles is, not going to be around, whether he, steps down or resigns, and someone is going to take the crown that is not who you expect. And so it's like, oh, and someone actually, it says, I think someone who didn't expect to be there. And so it's just like, oh, what's happening? So I don't subscribe to Nostradamus and all of that stuff, but it's just very interesting because one of the things that they predicted exactly when when Queen Betty was going to die, they predicted, I think, down to the day when she was going to die. And it was just very like, ooh, very interesting. So who knows? I mean, again, I don't really subscribe to stuff like this, but it's just very interesting to me. So who knows? I can only imagine, Charles stepped down and William is like, I don't want to do this. I can't do this, and then Harry is like, oh no, I'm staying in California. Thanks, but no thanks. And then they end up with Andrew. I just think that would be the most perfect thing. I mean, they so deserve Prince Andrew as their king. I just was like, I would just laugh. I'm like, yep, they totally deserve a King Andrew. Our poor squatties don't, but those royalists do. So, Let's see. Church Nelly says, lazy and crazy, hasn't been to America in almost a decade. Why come to America now? Money. That's it. Money and fame. They hate Americans. They look down on their noses at Americans, but they always come to America for money and attention. That's it. You know? Yeah, that's it. But for them, no, they're not into fame. They're not sure. They're royals. They're not celebrities. Of course not. You know, and they don't come to America to beg. No. They just, ask for donations. Amazing. On this morning, American showbiz presenter Sam Rubin was talking about Harry and Meghan. He went so far as calling Meghan a narcissist. Again, you'll find those in America too. They go on British. If they subscribe, they're royalists. It's just there are a lot of royalists in the U.S. And so especially, especially right-wing America, that's their thing. It's like the royal family is their mothership. That's like they're the epitome of white supremacy. That's why Trump was like falling all over himself over the Queen. It's like that's white supremacy mothership there. So yeah, anything that comes, anything that challenges that, it's like, ooh, it challenges them. So yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, hey. If I hear it from, say, someone from NBC or ABC, I wouldn't be surprised. That's who they are. Let's see. His love, her love says, I think Mad World meant that is basically social media is the one leading the charge to call out the abuse. Oh, okay. I apologize, Mad World. I think I completely misread what you said. I am so sorry. I thought you meant that the abuse was coming from social media. I completely misread that. I absolutely apologize. Sorry. Thank you so much, his love, her love, for clarifying. Boy, I totally read that wrong. So sorry about that. I will read better the next time, I promise. Let's see. Sylvia, Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator, is saying to Sylvia, they're not going to speak out about racism of their own royals because they are racist themselves. Yeah, they're all subscribed to the same thing. So they're not going to call it themselves out. They absolutely, there are some who are, closeted ones who don't want people to know that that's where they are and what they're believing, but they're not going to say a word. Church Nelly, or birthday girl, one day removed, says Netflix said the docuseries would be out in December. The question isn't why did Netflix release the trailer when they did. The question should be, why are the Shambridges in America after 9 years? Yes. Absolutely. And Netflix could be as messy as they want, and I love it. Messy and petty. I love it. Official Lauren says, that is the thing that angers me. The way the anti-fans of Meghan and Harry are given credence by royal reporters who use them as sources. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Hello, Angela Levin, perfect example of one. A lot of times you see crazy conspiracy theories from social media end up in getting validation in British tabloids. And those British tabloids are part of the Royal Rota. And yeah, they're the ones chosen by the royal family to represent and speak for them. So when they validate some crazy conspiracy theory from social media, yeah, well, there you go. It gives it all the clout that it needs. And it really feeds into, well, yeah, if they can validate that, let me go further and be more hateful. So yeah. Bisani, hi Bisani Golf, how are you? Well, thank you. She's like, you're right. Their hate rhetoric started in the British press and the media, and social media platforms took up the baton and ran with it. And I'm telling you, talk about run. That thing is spread like wildfire. So yeah. Let's see. Lydia says, I get angry when I see mainstream media use those types of reporters as sources in the USA. Yeah, lazy reporting. Lazy reporting, and a lot of times doing it for clicks. That's what it is. They don't do any background checks. They don't do any, they don't vet. They're not vetting people. They're not doing research, and they're just taking their word for, as gospel. Yeah. Cookies and Cream says, I'm glad Netflix dropped the trailer when they did. I'm glad the Sussexes are telling their story in their own words. I am glad they are fighting back. Oh, you and me both. I am so glad. And I don't care that Netflix is being messy and petty. I am just glad that they are doing it as well, And oh, how interesting it is from what that Netflix website says. It's going to be, we're going to be hearing things very different. Like they said, even the most ardent supporters of the Sussexes, we're going to be getting it from an angle that we never heard from before. And so I am so looking forward to that. I mean, Aghast, people that we never heard from before, and maybe a side of the story we just didn't know was there. And so all of it I'm looking forward to. So yeah. Official Lauren Byrne, I think you're it today. He says, yes, they are blind to their actual circumstances and the way they appear to everyone, not high on the royal supply. Okay. That is something she's saying to Cookies and Cream, which I'm not sure what the original statement was. Joyce says, hi, Joyce Bus. Joyce says, did anyone hear this man on the UK radio show LBC? He hit the nail on the head about Harry Meghan this morning and this trailer drop. Are you talking about the one where he was talking about the British press? They are really angry because Harry and Meghan's fairy tale is a lot better and a lot more interesting than the Cambridge's fairy tale, because they have to sell the Cambridge's fairy tale. They have to sell all that stuff that the Cambridge's they're just not, I mean, that's part of it. I think, he didn't mention the racism part of it as to why they get attacked by the British press. But his thing is, because the royal press, they are tasked with really promoting the royal fairy tale of Prince William and Kate. All of a sudden we have the Sussexes that's upending that whole narrative, and the moment the Sussexes breathe, everybody leave William and Kate and run off to the Sussexes. That is why the British press are angry. That's why a lot of the people are attacking them, because Harry and that's not the order it's supposed to go. They're supposed to be under William and Kate, and that's not what's happening. The media, and again, you think about it, it's like the media don't have to cover the Sussexes. If you're assigned to those, then stay with them. No matter how boring and uninteresting they are. So there you go. Yeah, that's right. James O'Brien. He is amazing. He's on LBC, and he is amazing. Thank you so much, Dennis. But yeah, and that's, I think, one of the reasons. And then you add in racism and sexism and misogyny and anti-American sentiment, really xenophobia, and all the other stuff in there that they try to claim that they're not. So yeah. But James O'Brien is amazing. If you have access to LBC, definitely tune into him, because he hits the nail on the head and he calls out their racism just about all the time. So yeah. Let's see. Cookies and Cream says the racists are running scared because the tide is turning. The monarchy is self-imploding. More and more people are sympathizing with Harry and Meghan. Yeah. And what's very interesting too about what the documentary that's coming up, they're going to be dealing with the Commonwealth. And that's going to be a sore subject for the royal family, because they are trying to, again, Prince Charles is the new head since Queen Betty is gone of the Commonwealth, and they are trying to hold on to power, and with countries deciding to if they ever do it, deciding to become republics. They are desperately trying to hold on to that power in Commonwealth countries. And so Meghan and Harry are going to be dealing with that. And I hope that they're the ones that will call out the UK and say, you need to apologize. You need to start making reparations. I hope, because they're going to be bringing in, professionals and, to be talking about this. And so just I guess like Meghan did for archetypes, they'll be bringing in, these scholars and stuff to come in and speak about, racism and structural racism and all of that stuff. And that would be a sore subject. So I hope that they're the ones that say, look, it's time to get a payment plan together and start paying people. So who knows? It'll be interesting. They don't want to hear that. So yeah. Let's see. Lottie says, I think Harry and Meghan would be speaking to friends and family doing this documentary. Yeah, they did say that they're going to be speaking to friends and family who we've not heard from, who actually have never spoken about their relationship before. So very interesting. Let's see. Donna says, that Netflix docuseries is going to be a blockbuster globally, so Netflix will get their money's worth. Yeah, I mean, what perfect time. I mean, if you want eyes and having the world on there, and what better way than to tick off the royal family? And when you do that, the British press is going to come and they are going to advertise for you. I mean, talk about free publicity. They never have to pay for publicity. So what better way to do it than to be like, okay, let's just, interrupt you a bit here. And again, let's just be messy. And, the funny thing with the Sussexes is that they're just such, I'm sure this wouldn't be, and maybe maybe I'm just thinking, but what I know about their character, I would assume that, yesterday wouldn't have been the day that they may have chosen for that, trailer to drop. They would have, they probably would have been like a different day so that they don't because they just don't seem that kind of person. They're not messy. And, but, Netflix is. So I just think it's a good balance. Netflix is like, I love you, but we gonna get some publicity out of this. So there. Compton Caligas says, I love the buzz on the air just in time for the Ripple of Hope Award. And I think that's the thing too, because remember how the British press has been attacking, and especially Kerry Kennedy. They have really been attacking Kerry Kennedy and the Ripple of Hope Awards, that how dare they give Harry and Meghan an award for calling out the structural racism in the royal family, which that's a little part of the award. I mean, that's part of it, but the whole thing is about their humanitarian work and their work in social justice and, and their humanitarian efforts and all of those things. It's a lot of things if you read why they're getting the award. But of course, the British the British press is all like, no, they're getting the award because they are trying to destroy the royal family. So this is complete vindication that, well, yeah, okay, y'all said that's why they're getting the award. So perfect. They deserve it now. They definitely deserve it because they did call them out and stood up to them. So there you go. So that kind of backfired. You notice you're not hearing anybody say that anymore, because ever since that happened with Ngozi, that everybody's like, oh, okay, I guess. So let's say, Sherry Ware. Hi, Sherry. How are you? Sherry says, Panel UK media had the fairy tale with Harry and Meghan, but they abused them. They can't moan and complain about their envy and jealousy. They and the unroyals caused Harry and Meghan to leave. Yeah, they had the perfect fairy tale. They had it right in their hands, and they chose to abuse them. So again, with the royal family and all of those things, with the way how they are in the UK, it's kind of like they're used to abusing people, and people stay and then suck up to them, and where they get to control their narrative. They just haven't dealt with someone who said, peace out. We are going to control our own narrative, and we're going to cut you off. And they, God forbid, the fact that also, a biracial woman is part of that. Ooh, goodness, grievances. That goes against everything. They feel like they are God's gift to this world. How dare a woman with black blood cut us off? Ooh, who does she think she is? So yeah. Oh, Alan Vernon, thank you so much. Oh, wait a minute. It just ran away from me there. Oh, there we go. Alan, thank you so much for your donation. Alan says, I just find it funny and interesting that all this stuff coming out the minute the dump landed and busted. I don't even think they landed. They were in the air when that whole, I think, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they landed. But what I think, I think it was, what is it? GMB had this reporter on, and he's a black guy that's on GMB, and one of her, she's not a squattee, but she posts a lot of stuff about the Sussexes. She does support them, and she posted a clip from GMB, and I think he said they were in the air. So I could be wrong, but I think that's what he said. They were in the air when that whole thing happened, and then when they landed, then one of their spokesperson said that racism is not acceptable anywhere or whatever. So anyways, Alma, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you. I appreciate. Thank you for your support. Let's see a couple more. Actually, I have one more thing to share, I think. Wait, let's see. Did I bring it in? Yes. Yes, Philip. I'm sorry, not Philip. Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa. We were talking about him yesterday, and someone in the chat had brought up that because we weren't sure, they were announcing that maybe he would resign yesterday. That was the sort of the thinking, that yesterday he would resign. And then I think someone in the chat had said he is gone or something, that he has resigned. But he didn't. He is still in power. He apparently was thinking of resigning, what I understand from yesterday. He was thinking of resigning yesterday, but his people and his supporters encouraged him to not resign. And so yesterday it said that the ANC had, completely lost faith in him, and I guess they had cut it, but that's not the case. What is happening is that they are meeting to try to decide his fate. Because of that whole cash in a suitcase, having all that money and it's stolen and not reported and all that mess that's happening. So they met today, actually, according to SABC News. This says a special NEC meeting of the ANC at Nazareth has been adjourned and will reconvene on Sunday. President Ramaphosa was not at today's scheduled meeting, which was to discuss the Section 89 independent panel report on I think it's called Fala or Fela. And Reuters reports today, says South African ANC delays decision on Farmgate as Ramaphosa allies rally. And so they're probing the cash hidden in Ramaphosa's farm, finds evidence of potential misconduct. The president denies wrongdoing. Supporters rally around him, and the ANC says they will reconvene before December 6th. And according to SABC, they're reconvening on Sunday. It says leaders of South Africa governing African Council, the ANC, met on Friday after an inquiry found evidence President Cyril Ramaphosa may have committed misconduct, but they delayed a decision over whether he should stay in his post. Ramaphosa's future has been in doubt since publication on Wednesday of a report by a panel of experts that investigated revelations that he kept millions of dollars in cash at his private game farm and failed to even report it missing when the money was stolen from his property in 2020. So that is ongoing. That is the latest. I got this right before I came on. That is what is going on with Cyril Ramaphosa. Again, my big question is, why exactly were you in the UK? So anyways, that is what that is on that. I don't think I have anything. Oh, one more thing. If you're on social media, as I mentioned before, Chris Boozy is actively working on a platform that is in a way like Twitter. If you know Twitter, if you're on Twitter platform and you know Twitter, it's something that will be familiar. So it's going to be kind of like Twitter, minus the trolls, because he is basically Bot Sentinel is about troll busting. And so Right now there are 63,469 people have already signed up. He is going for 100,000 people, and then they will launch. He has already signed. The on the right is this is like what the platform, the landing page will look like. It is called Spoutable. That's the name. That's going to be the name of the social media platform. And so, and the cool thing about it is that he allowed. I mean, we did like these polls. He did this polls on Twitter, so where everyone got to choose the name, got to choose the design, and all of that stuff. And it was actually kind of cool to be part of that. The polls of trying to choose exactly what it's going to be, what it's going to look like, and everything like that. So definitely, I'm going to put the link in the show notes. It's spoutable.com, so you can go. I think on Monday they're going to start literally. Subscribing to the actual Spoutable. So before we subscribe to where he tried to get 100,000 to see if it's a go, because he doesn't want to, he's gonna go ahead with it if he reaches 100,000 people. So again, right now it's at 63,000. So hopefully it gets there, and then we can see what Spoutable is, and we can get away from the mess that is Twitter. And so, and I'm also on Black Twitter. So, so we'll have two platforms that we can, away from trolls. So that would be really, really awesome. So yeah. So again, if you're, interested in going on social media, that would be a good, cool thing if it goes ahead. So anyways, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you to our awesome moderators, Lydia Church, Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, Julia Rock. I'm not sure, I didn't see Julia, but official Lauren Brown. Thank you so much for your thanks for the great live. Thank you so much, Julia. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. But thank you, all of you guys, so much for hanging out with me. And I know we'll probably jump over to Baron. And I'm not sure. I didn't notice if the Duchess of Success had hers earlier or if it's going to be later. I didn't check today. But again, if you are new here and you have not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Definitely click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. And also, you can join our channel if you are able. So absolutely, definitely. Thank you guys who already have. Thank you to our Two Cents crew that's already here. And I appreciate all of your support, and also Gold Star supporters who, doing super chats, super thanks, super stickers, all of that, along with PayPal, Cash App, merchandise. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys. Have a great, great weekend. Do, whatever fun things y'all are doing. Thank you guys so much. I will see you next time. Bye.